Corey. We are continuing our Arcanoclism campaign today with session 21. Let's see here. Where did that go? There it is. Okay. Last session, the party continued through their tense encounter, working their way through the deep vault of the college and execute their plans. Arriving in Brew's new chamber, a standoff of sorts occurred between Vendy and the party. After declaring that he needed to follow through with his decision, Vendy allowed himself to be knocked out by Stock, and the rebels scooped up their unconscious and left with Brew in tow. While the party arrived to the camp to a joyous atmosphere and a short inquisition by Hildraith about messages sent to someone in the college, Vendy woke in a stupor and shortly found himself in Varen's office being given compassion. We left off last week with Varen awaiting a decision from Vendy to help with his next plan, and the rebels setting sail for the island of Twern. We pick up today's session in the middle of a battle with some giant sharks, the ship having taken 3 massive charges by the beasts already. And with that, I'm going to shift gears on the music, and we're going to jump back into our initiative order. We left off at the top, which gives us Nevis. So Nevis, you are up. The shark below you has not been attacking the ship, but it is still keeping pace with it, and it has been damaged quite a bit. You do see some dark blood sort of trailing the water behind you guys.
Alright. Then I guess I'm going to, I think I was doing this before, try to hit him with Toll the Dead.
Okay.
Wisdom save of 16.
Alright. I don't believe sharks to be very wise, so we'll see.
There are no whales when it comes to wisdom.
Right, exactly. That is a 15.
Nice. So since he damaged previously, he gets the 12s for 13 necrotic damage.
Nice. So you see as you hear that sound ring out, you see the shark stop swimming and start to fall behind the ship as it just kind of like rolls over and floats up to the surface, and you see it disappear into the churn. Any movement or anything you want to do with your turn?
Yeah, I guess I'll go over to the other side to scan the water there.
Okay.
Just, because I guess my inclination would be that I can't see that one that's on the left of the ship.
Not from where you are, no.
Right. So I will move. And that's it.
You do, in fact, see another massive shark down there. Okay. Alright, so the sharks are up. I'm gonna roll 2 attacks on the ship. One of those will hit. So this time, I'm gonna have Borax make a concentration check. Actually, wait, no, you're not concentrating on Moonbeam anymore, right? You dropped that? Because I don't actually see the Moonbeam circle anywhere.
Yeah, I must have dropped it.
Okay, let's have everybody make dexterity saving throws.
Oh, no. Oh.
Uh-oh.
It's always nice when you forget you have a decent modifier.
Alright, so, Borax, what did you get?
11.
11. Okay.
Yes.
So you fall prone and just barely avoid falling over the railing to the main deck. Xanalor, what'd you get?
7.
7. Okay. So you're going to take 4 force damage as you fall over the railing to the lower deck. Stock got a natural 20 on his, so he's able to grip the rail and stay aboard. Nevis, what'd you get?
Oh, I wasn't aware that I was supposed to do it as well. 14 on the dice becomes a 16.
16. Okay. You also passed the dexterity saving throw. You're able to grab onto the rail of the ship to avoid going overboard or falling down. With that, the rebels are up.
Whoa, buddy.
They have used all of their.
Oh no.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, they've used their 4th and all their 3rd level spell slots.
Amateurs.
Well,
Since I fell, do I lose concentration on that for the one?
I forgot you were concentrating. Go ahead and actually wait. Where is your token? I thought that was.
I'm king of the world.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So you actually fell there. Yeah.
So
Go
I was
ahead.
worried if
Go
I
ahead.
was going to fall in.
Make a concentration check for me.
You are now Poseidon, king of the sea.
16 plus what? What is concentration?
It's a Constitution saving throw.
18.
Okay. Yeah. You were able to maintain concentration. You had to beat a 10.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see here. This guy, he's gonna move up to the side. Oh shit! I forgot stock. He'll go after this. This guy, yeah. So the 3 of them are going to fire off magic missile at the 2nd level. So that's going to be 4 at the bottom left shark. So it's 8, 11, 15 damage to this shark. And oh man, I dropped a d4 again. Why does this always happen?
Those are the worst to step on, too.
Why do good things happen? Or why do bad things happen to good DMs? All right.
Also, is that a mouse rat shirt?
Me?
Aaron.
Yes, it is.
Oh, Aaron's
Love
got
it.
his camera. I didn't have his camera.
Target's finest.
Okay, let's see. So that's 14, 19 damage.
Speaking of,
Oh, there we go. Now I've got everybody. Cool. All right. And then that's going to be 12 damage from the last guy. Stock is going to. He's going to step to this side with you, Nevis. He's going to make a pair of attacks with his glaive. He's going to use his bonus action since he can't reach. He's going to use his bonus action to use one of his fighting spirits to get an advantage on the attack. And that's going to be... Oh, yeah, that's going to be a 21 to hit. And that's going to be a d10. So that's 14 damage. And then second attack, again with advantage. That's going to hit for another... this time it's just 8 damage. How does he always roll so high in his damage? I don't understand. Okay. So that's going to be it for Stock, because I know he used his action surge last week. Alright. Borax, you are up. Xanalor, you're on deck.
Alright, I am going to use my best 3rd level spell. I just see Borax's eyes roll back. Lightning start coming from his fingers. Raiden style. I'm going to create a lightning storm just on the edge of our boat, targeting that gentleman. Shark.
Okay.
It's a 60-foot radius, so I'm going to be just putting it on the edge of our boat.
Okay.
And we are now in a storm. It's going to be a what is called lightning? It's a concentration. Is it just a straight attack? Dexterity 14 save. The shark has to make.
Oh, okay, I see. So you've got this storm cloud above
A 60-foot
ship.
lightning storm, yeah. Not off to the left of the ship. Just
Okay.
kind of edging the ship over the shark.
Okay. So he needs to make a dexterity saving throw. So I was
Yeah.
just looking at the spell.
I'm not targeting the ship at all. No,
Right.
I'm keeping it off, so we're kind of like skirting the storm.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Dexterity. Nope. That's a 3.
All right, so that is going to be 3d10. I need to get a couple more d10s. 1 and 2, 3.
Okay.
That is a 5, 6, 12. That is 12 lightning damage.
Okay.
And then I can concentrate on that for up to 10 minutes.
Yes. All right. Xanalor, you are up.
Alright, I'm gonna stand up and then double blast the one that's right in front of me after I step back there.
So you actually don't have to, because like you're
Okay.
up on the ship. It's
Okay.
You're not actually in melee range of this thing.
Just making sure. 24 to hit
Uh-huh.
for 12 force,
Okay.
and 18 to hit for 12 force.
All right. Anything else?
Step back to there.
Okay. All right. Nevis, you are up again.
Would it be possible for me to have noticed the weapons at the back of the ship? What are those? Ballistas?
Yeah. I mean, you've been on the ship for more than a day, so I assume you've looked around.
Is that one rebel? Is he manning that one there?
He is not.
All right. 20, 25, 2. And I'm going to aim it at that one. So what do I have to make, like an attack roll, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
attack?
Make a dexterity-based attack, since you are aiming. Siege equipment. Okay. I totally forgot that those were there and didn't even think about it. Okay. So you have an additional +6 on this for the bolt.
+6 for damage or for
To
hit? Okay, that gives me a 13 then.
That will just barely hit. All right, go ahead and roll 3d10 piercing damage.
Wow. Do I remember what a 10 looks like? Yes, I do.
It's the pointy boy with lots of sides.
Those 8s and 10s, man, those... half the time I screw myself out at some points.
That would be 18 piercing, I guess.
Yep, piercing damage. Okay. All right. Oh, interesting. Okay. So it will take another action to load it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's before. So technically, it needed to be needed an action to be aimed, but I did not catch that before I allowed you to roll. So we're gonna roll with it because I forgot that there were crossbows or ballistas on the ship. Anything else with your
Those are
turn,
already
Dennis?
aimed in the right direction.
No, I think that'll be it for right now.
Okay, cool. That was a cool idea.
I don't think any of my bonus actions will be effective right now.
Okay. All right. So Stock is going to go now. He's going to use another Fighting Spirit to give himself advantage on the attacks. And he rolls a net fucking 20. All right. So that's going to be 16 on the dice. So it's a 20. No, sorry. Brain, do math. 22 to hit, or 22 damage, I mean. He's gonna roll again. That's gonna be a hit. And that is for 13 damage. All right. So with that, it is the sharks. They are up. Let's see if they collide with the ship again. Okay. So you guys feel two collisions with the ship. The collision doesn't cause you guys to have to make a saving throw this time because some of the impact is absorbed by the fact that you hear a much larger crunching sound from below decks.
Neves, how are you with fixing boats?
Hopefully, very good at it.
All right. Let's see here. So with that, the rebels that are with you are up. They're going to go ahead and what does this spell do? Oh yeah, I'm not gonna do that. It's not gonna help out very much here. All right, they're gonna go ahead and use another second level spell slot to beef up their magic missiles. There's gonna be 2 on that top right shark and 1 on the top left, I mean, and 1 on the bottom right. Against the bottom right, that's gonna be 12. And then that's going to be 15 against the top right one. And then 1 more. Boy, that's a lot of ones. It's going to be 9 for the last one. And that brings us to Borax.
I'm just going to call down another wave of lightning on that same shark.
Okay. He fails his dex saving throw, so that's the full 3d10.
Six plus 8 is 14.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't want to move anywhere, so that is my turn.
All right, Xanilor.
Heck,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. What's
I
that
was
for?
gonna say, actually, can I? Do I have enough time to use like my bonus action to see if we're sinking from that last collision?
So you haven't used any of your movement, so you could go look below decks. It would. So you actually didn't stand up after being knocked
Oh
prone?
yeah, I'm gonna use my motion movement to stand up then.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then you've got.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, no problem. And then you've got. Let's see, your move speed is 25, right?
I'm just gonna run to the edge and look just along the side.
Okay. From what you can see at a quick glance, you can't see. It doesn't look like you can see that the ship is damaged from there. If you want on your turn, you can use an action to make a perception check to take a better look.
Yep.
All right, Xanor, now you're up. Sorry.
All right. Step back there. Double blast.
Okay.
25 to hit for
yeah.
12. 11 to hit.
11 will miss.
Okay.
Okay.
That was going to be full damage too.
All right, Nevis, you're up again.
All right. Rather than spend my turn loading the ballista, I am going to cast Toll the Dead again on the one that I just hit with that bolt.
All right.
So, Wisdom of 16.
Fail.
Awesome. That is 17 necrotic damage.
Nice. All right. Anything else?
Yeah. I want to move 30. I also want to try to look down into the hold and see if I can tell if there's water pouring in or not.
Okay. So at a quick glance, it looks like you do see some like objects that are you can't tell at just a quick glance.
Okay.
You do hear like the sound of, I don't know if I want to say rushing water, but you do hear the sound of water coming in, but you can't see much yet with a quick look like that.
Okay.
All right. Stock is up. He's going to continue his assault on Shark Mountain. Let's see. He's not going to use his last fighting spirit, though. He's going to hold on to that. And so he's going to roll his 2 attacks. I'm just going to do them both at the same time. Both of those are going to hit. And that's going to be a total of... Okay, so that's 14 plus 12 is 26. All right. And oh yeah, by the way, the shark looking pretty rough. There's a lot of red coming from behind. Okay, with that, the sharks are up. Still just 2 of them making attacks on the boat. Okay, I need you guys, everyone, to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw for me again.
21.
All right. Okay. Borax, what did you get on your dexterity saving throw? If you're there.
Forgot I muted because of the baby. I got a 10.
A 10. Okay. Nevis, I need you to make one as well. Dexterity.
21.
21. Okay. Can you go ahead and make another one for me?
All of us?
No, just Nevis.
Okay.
4.
Okay. So with that, both Stock and Borax actually fall overboard.
Oh no! I was about to do something
the
stupid
hell
on my
outta
next
here.
turn.
And let's see here. Okay. So the rebels are up. They're kind of running out of. Okay. They're going to. Wait, how does this work? Oh, never mind. That's not what I thought it was. Okay, I guess another magic missile. This one is going to have to be at first level. Okay, actually that's pretty good. So that's going to be 14 damage against the one at the bottom. So that one actually also you see it fall behind and stop keeping up. And then the one at the top right, it's going to be 13 damage. And oh man, 8 damage from the other one. Okay, that brings us to Borax. You are up. You are swinging.
Yes, I will use my action to wild shape into a reef shark.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Do you lose concentration on spells that you had previously cast when you wild shape?
I had already assumed I lost concentration when I fell overboard, so I already took that circle off.
So I mean, not necessarily because you didn't take damage.
Okay. Well, I'm going to want to break concentration because I'm in that storm, so...
Okay.
Regardless, I'm going to break concentration.
Okay, alright, cool.
Then.
Alright, so you are now a reef shark. Okay, that brings us to Xanalor then.
Alright, I'm going to keep taking shots at this dude. $25 to hit.
Yeah.
15 force damage.
Nice.
And 17 to hit.
Yep.
For 11.
Okay. Starts looking real rough. Okay, Nevis, you are up.
And I'm also going to take a step back
Okay.
because somebody fell off.
Alright, I'm going to move over to the edge of the ship,
Mm-hmm.
and while holding tightly onto one end of a rope, I want to drop the other end down to Stock and try and get him out the water.
Alright, okay. So Stock is up. He's going to use his action to grab onto the rope. And that is just a use object type thing. So then he's going to start climbing the rope. And he actually does get to get back on deck because of the height of the ship. Being where you guys are at, he's able to, even at the half speed of climbing, climb up onto the ship. So you did get him up.
Cool.
The sharks are up again, so there's just going to be one attack that time. That one's going to... it does not collide with the ship this time. And that other one does still continue to stay afraid.
Could I use the remainder of my movement to go towards the bow of the ship?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the sharks done, the rebel guys are up. Actually, no, he's gonna run up. These guys are all gonna. All right, so there's gonna be 2 more magic missiles at the shark on the right there. And that guy had to dash to get up there, so he's not able to do anything. Alright, so that's 7, 10, and So that's a total of 20 damage against that shark, so that is actually enough. That one falls off the pace too, and you see it floating in a pool of its own red. Borax shark, you're up.
I am going to bite at the shark that's right in front of me at its tail.
Okay.
And that is a 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
You just barely miss, as its powerful tail is kind of creating sort of some turbulence behind it with as big as the shark is compared to you. All right. Xanalor, you're up. And Nevis, you're on deck.
I'm muted. 15 to hit.
Yep.
15 force damage.
Okay.
And 13 to hit.
Just barely hits.
Oh, nice. That's also 15.
Nice. Okay. All right. Chonking a 30 piece off.
Nice. That's max damage.
Sweet. All right, Nevis, you're up.
All right. I can actually do it from here because it's got a 60-foot effective range.
Okay.
Toll the Dead.
Toll the Dead. All right. It's a wisdom saving throw. That's another very low sub 10 roll. So that one's going to go off.
14.
Okay. Alrighty. And as you kind of peer over the ship to aim this, you actually see a much smaller shark swimming behind the big shark, looking like it's nipping at its sharkness. All right.
I use a reaction to wave a flipper.
All right. So Stock's going to run up, and he's going to plunge his glaive into the water twice. Not rolling those dice. Those are bad guy dice. All right, that's another pair of hits. And the total is going to be 25 damage. That is a happy baby.
Yeah, for once.
All right. So Stock is done. The sharks are up. That one can't really do much of anything other than try to not be afraid anymore, and it is still afraid. The rebels are up. That's going to be another. This guy's going to kind of move up. He's not. Move up there, and this guy is going to kind of. He's going to step up right next to you, Xanalor. Like you see him kind of like fling himself against the railing real quick to fire off this blast of force missiles. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to roll it on my phone. It's 9d4 between the three of them. 9d4 plus 9. 32 damage total. Alright, this shark is looking also pretty rough at this point. You guys would give him hell of a shellacking. Borax shark, you are up.
I'm taking a bite for that tail.
Okay.
And that is an 11.
An 11 will still miss, unfortunately. Xanalor, you're up.
Keep on blasting. 16
Yep.
for 11.
Okay.
23 for 8.
Okay. Alright, Nevis.
Toll the Dead again.
Alright.
Keep playing that record.
It's going to be a 17, actually.
All right, I missed.
Alright, Stock is up. Another pair of attacker Rooney Doonies. He's got a great modifier. Both of those are going to hit. And that's going to be 23 damage, right? Yeah.
What are you trying to add?
20. Hang on. 9 plus 12 is 21. And that's going to take that shark out as well. All right. So with that, combat has ended. You guys, you see still the borax shark hanging out down there.
Yeah. Can I take a lap as a shark and do an assessment of the damage underneath the water?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Ooh, my dice is not too good today. That is a 12.
Okay, so as you're going around the ship, you actually see towards the back end of the ship, where that bottom right shark was, there are several boards that have kind of been pushed into the ship, like it's like kind of caved in a bit from where its nose was hitting, and you do see, like you kind of feel the pull of the water entering the ship.
Okay. I'll break concentration, become normal borax again.
Okay.
Floating at the surface.
All right.
Alright, I yell to Doc or Zanalor, somebody help him out of the water, and I go below decks to assess damage.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
12.
12. Okay. Yeah. So you go below decks. As your feet hit like the last couple steps, going down below decks, you're already you're stepping in water. As you look around, you hear again the sound of water, like you heard from above, kind of pouring into the ship. You can tell from the way that crates and barrels are coming at you that the water is coming from the back of the ship. And you so far that's all it sounds like. You don't hear like the groaning or anything of the ship starting to what is it, go off keel. Is that right? The keel
List.
is at that bottom of the ship. Yeah, starting to list and stress under the different structures that aren't supposed to be structural becoming structural.
All right, I just want to spend the rest of my available time to find where the water's coming in at.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of slosh your way to the back of the ship, and you see in this back left corner of the ship, there is like a kind of like a hole in the wall of the ship, and water is pouring in.
All right, if I might take the chance, then I have a new domain spell called Fabricate.
Ooh, okay.
It takes 10 minutes to cast. I convert raw materials into products of the same material.
Okay.
So I can make a wooden bridge from a clump of trees,
Yeah.
a rope from a bunch of hemp, blah blah blah.
Neat.
Because I can also fabricate a large or small object that is contained within the size of a 10-foot cube.
Okay.
I'm assuming there are some non-essentials that we can take wood from, and I can craft some sort of a patch.
Yeah.
To,
are you letting anyone know sort of what's happening or what you're doing?
If anyone's down there with me, they'll probably get the idea, but I'm not like yelling it out to anyone. No.
Okay. All right. So while you're casting that, we'll switch over to Stock and Xanalor. Xanalor, do you have a rope on you by any chance?
I do. I was going to check the deck to see if there's one on the deck first and use that, and if not, I just use my own.
That's a great question. I feel like most of the ropes on deck are probably there to tie off sails and things like that. So they're probably
because this is pre-Titanic. We didn't really care about people falling over.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, just toss my own rope over.
Okay, and then Stock actually he's gonna come over and kind of help you hold on to it and get ready to pull Borax up. So Borax, go ahead, make a strength check for me. It's not like you can't fail this one. It's just to see like how quickly you're able to get up the rope.
That is a adjusted 3.
Adjusted 3. Okay, so it's a little bit of a struggle. You're wet. The rope is kind of it's a hempen kind of
silk.
rope.
It's silk.
Oh, yours is silk. Okay.
Yeah.
The silk is getting ruined by the water. By the way.
So I didn't want to use it.
So you are able to get up onto the deck. As you get closer up there, Stock reaches his arm down there, and he pulls you up.
Much obliged, gentlemen.
You're replacing my rope.
I can turn into a silkworm and replace it that way if you'd like.
That's an interesting concept.
How long does it take one silkworm to make 50 feet of rope?
Look, this has been a long journey anyways. Are we in any kind of rush?
One of the so you're
I will give Xanalor whatever gold is required to replace a silk rope.
All right, so you're kind of back there, Nevis, below deck. One of the rebels, he's gonna kind of he's just moving around. He looks through the deck and can see that barrels and crates are floating around down there. And he shouts out that the ship's taking on water, and the other two rebels, they immediately grab buckets, and they run down below deck, and you see between the three of them, and actually they're going to cast Mage Hand, you actually see essentially like them bilging 6 buckets of water out of the ship every couple of seconds.
I'm like, oh, that's easy, and I'll cast Mage Hand and do the same thing.
All right. So you noticed that as your Mage Hand, so the rebels themselves are able to carry more water than the Mage Hand can, just because Mage Hand has some weight restrictions to it. But you do sort of figure that out over time, So Nevis, over the course of the 10 minutes to cast Fabricate, the water is it's still coming in. You're going through this sort of, I don't want to say ritual because it's not necessarily a ritual, but you're divine magic, so everything is kind of a ritual. You're like getting you kind of like the sort of skin like on your chest and stomach by being like close enough to this to like make sure that you're getting everything in the right spot. Your like chest and stomach are starting to get like kind of the skin is kind of raw from like the pounding of the water coming in, but eventually some of like the crates and barrels that were floating around that are now filled with things that are ruined by the wet. Not all of them, not all the crate. Obviously, you're on a ship, and ships leak. But so like some stuff is, sort of some stuff is packed as like impervious to that kind of stuff. Other things, aren't. But you're able to those barrels and crates become the wood that you use to fabricate a new sort of wall, a patch to the ship, and it stops taking on water. And over the course of the next couple hours, the rebels and their mage hands continue to scoop water out of the ship and dump it overboard. and by the time it's near like sundown, the ship is sort of back to normal working order.
All right. Well, as soon as I'm done with the patch, I will obviously crawl back out of the hold and go back on deck.
Okay.
Who forgot the shark repellent?
One of the rebels, as they're like running past with buckets of water, is like, shark repellent.
Yes. Stuff to keep shark away from boat.
All right. So you guys are able to create a meal with some of the foodstuffs that were not damaged by the wet. And
Shark steak?
what's that?
Some shark steak?
I mean, if you wanted to go back and get the ones that you guys killed.
Too much work.
If there's anything that you guys want to do, like from a role play perspective or anything like that, you guys, we can go ahead and take care of that. Otherwise, you will get the benefits of a long rest. We can move on to sort of the next day.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. All right. Alrighty. So, another day or two goes by, pretty uneventfully. You guys are out in, open water, and based on what you're seeing on the map, you're only a couple days away from making landfall. You're out there keeping watch. People are working the ship and making sure that everything is smooth sailing, so to speak. And one of the rebels calls out that there's a group of griffins flying towards the ship. Go ahead, anyone who wants to, go ahead and make a nature check for me.
It's a fairly appropriate roll. 9.
Okay.
17.
All right.
21.
21.
Net
Okay.
20.
So Borax and Nevis, you guys kind of come to the conclusion at the same time. This isn't necessarily strange behavior for griffins. They do, like any flying creature, have a tendency to migrate. And you see them flying in from the west. From the east. And you see that kind of with them and picking at like scraps of like large fish that are being carried by the griffins as they kind of like they fly, but they also like carry food to eat in their large talons. And there are some smaller hawks in the group with them, flying with and picking at the fish. And as they get closer to the ship, you notice them start to lower their altitude, and they appear to be kind of correcting their course to be coming right at the ship. And so one of the rebels kind of comes up to you guys and says, "What do you think we should do? Do you think we should wait to see if they attack, or should we man the ballista and get ready to?"
Are they in a flying V formation type?
How far away?
At this point, they're I'd say they're about 50 feet above the ship and declining, and they're about 200 feet away from the ship.
So they're descending towards them.
Yeah.
Maybe a warning shot.
Actually, I'm gonna cast. I have an idea. Can I cast Animal Friendship on at the 3rd level on the 3 lead ones?
What's the range on that?
It's if they had to be able to see or hear on me.
Okay. Well, they can certainly see you, and you can see them.
Okay. They have to do a Wisdom 14 save.
Okay.
Unless if their intelligence is higher than 4.
And you're casting this at above 1st level to impact the first 3 of them, you said?
I'm casting it at 3rd level, yeah,
Okay.
so I can impact 3.
Okay.
Hopefully that's enough to get a quorum among them to believe that we don't.
Okay. I just saw that it said if the beast's intelligence is 4 or higher, the spell fails, but
Yeah.
it is not. Okay, you said a 14.
Yep.
A wisdom saving throw?
Yes.
Okay. One of them does fail.
Okay, let's see. Then he's convinced that we mean him no harm.
Okay.
Let's see what happens with that, I guess.
Okay. All right. How are you sort of relaying this to the party or the?
I'm not. I'm assuming Xanalar's telling them to take a warning shot while I'm doing this.
Okay.
Because I just kind of had the idea and I went for it.
All right.
Didn't have time to relay it.
So the 3 cultists, they are not cultists, sorry, rebels. Old habit.
I knew it.
The 3 rebels begin manning the eastern ballista. One of them is working on aiming it, kind of working the cranks to get it turning and changing the altitude on it. And the other one is getting it ready to fire, while the 3rd is like kind of spotting for the one who's adjusting the crossbow to aim it, or not the crossbow, the ballista. And they.
I want to yell to the one that's aiming it to hold your shot until we tell you.
Okay.
And then I'll go over to the other one and start loading it.
Okay.
I'm gonna ready some Eldritch Blast.
Okay. All right. So as you guys watch, the group of griffins do continue to descend on the ship. You see them. They are at, like I said, like 50 feet up, about 300 feet out. After another 100 feet or so of movement, they're only 25 feet above the ship. Once they're about 100 feet away from the ship, they're almost at the same level as the deck. And they appear to be still continuing towards the ship. What are you guys waiting for to determine what you're doing?
Are they like in a hard swoop, or are they just kind of flying at us?
Make a perception check.
10.
10. Okay. you're not really used to seeing griffins, and you are not sure necessarily what like a hunting dive looks like versus like when it looks like they're going to land somewhere or anything like that.
I'm just gonna shoot 2 Eldritch Blasts straight into the sky and hope it looks scary.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and let's have you make an intimidation check.
Ooh, good roll. 26.
You said 26?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, nice. Okay, let's see here. Okay. So as you fire off this this Eldritch Blast, you see the smaller hawks like immediately like kind of like peel like they're like not heading directly towards the ship. They're still heading like across the ship's path, and they start kind of gaining altitude again. The A few of the griffins, you see them like splay their wings out and like kind of slow their approach to the ship a little bit. And actually, as you do this, the guy who was preparing the ballista to fire, you guys hear the ballista go off. And it let's see, I need to look, what is that? Oh yeah, okay. So the ballista does go off, and it hits one of the griffins.
Whoops.
Whoops. Okay, and that's going to do 14 damage to it. And that is where we're going to leave the rebellion troops for this week. I know we're kind of on a short week, guys, and that felt like a very quick hour. Give me Jay, if you don't mind, give me a couple minutes. I'm going to run to the bathroom really quick, and then we will pick up on where you were at.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Well, I have to prepare a bottle and get ready for dinner. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure. Next week, hopefully.
Whiskey for dinner?
Yeah.
Holy
We'll
crap.
see you next week.
Yes.
All right.
And by the way, Scott, are you still there? Is my microphone working right now? And it says it is.
Yours, Jay? Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool. I had literally gotten here just in time. And I almost picked the wrong character.
Okay, I am back. Probably could change the screen.
All right.
All right.
Getting my dice. That is what I should have done a few minutes ago.
Crinkles. Good job, Crinkles.
This feels like a purple and black dice day.
All right, so let me know when you're ready, Jay.
Let's go.
Okay, so when last we left Vendi, you had just asked Varen if you could have a bit of time to decide if you were going to help him by sailing to Norland to try to find
Going to Norlands.
the sort of sequestered mages that stay there in the Moonshae Isles. So I guess my first question is, granted the time to make your decision, unless you have any further questions to ask Varen, where does Vendi go to make this decision?
So I think we left him off with him going straight to the Temple of the Scalebearer, and there's not really much ever said in that moment. I think it's kind of like what we said last week, is it's very much a frustrated internal dialogue of him kind of going over this kind of circle in his head, where he started off seeing what he should not have seen in Alone, to finding some individuals, finding out that the individuals did not trust him, earning that trust, and then he kind of says, like, well, maybe that trust was never two-way, realizes that's a really stupid way to like think about it, but then coming down to ultimately going is like, did he make the right decision, not necessarily walking away from the cults, but walking away from his friends.
Sure.
After a while, he realizes that him just sitting in silence probably isn't going to do anything to change his situation. So he ends up going out to the stables.
Okay.
And finds Charlie.
Sure.
Yeah. By the way, something I forgot to mention about my class is there is no intelligence requirement for me to speak to animals.
Okay.
Yeah. I can read you the feature if you want.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's essentially bees can understand my speech, and I gain the ability to decipher their noises and motions. So they may not be able to speak directly to me, but I do get a very good idea of what their feelings are on something. So I mean, I kind of just tell the story again to Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
And big question that I kind of leave off to him is, do you think I really messed up?
So Charlie responds, and he says, "You're a lot smarter than I am, so I feel like you probably made the right decision. Friends are good, but not everyone is right all the time." And he tells you a story about when he was a young donklet and another donkey pooped on him.
Charlie, I didn't realize that happened to you.
It happens. It's kind of just barnyard life. But the point that I was trying to make is that not everyone does the right thing all the time. But still, you're way smarter than I am. You probably made the right decision.
All right. Spend a good couple of hours catching up with Charlie, but not saying anything that's narratively relative. Then heading back to the Longhouse.
Okay.
That one ends up going to Xanilor's room.
Again.
Again. And making a quick sweep, seeing if there's any like blank pieces of paper.
Okay.
And the main reason why I picked Xanilor's is because I feel like he'd be the most likely to read it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did last time you were in the Breeze home. You did collect all of the party's mail and put it on Xanilor's bed.
Mm-hmm.
So there are pieces of parchment that you can write on.
Yeah. And I just write down out here and just said, I think to myself, it's like, he's always writing in that book. And he tells us that sometimes there's an answer that the book gives him. And I'll write down, not really looking for an answer on this, but more just to just kind of feel like there's still some connection. I'll write down on a piece of parchment, and it goes like, I know you're probably not going to ever see this, but just remember what we're trying to do. And I hope we're just doing it for the right reasons. Stay the course, and hopefully we'll link up again. And I slide it into one of his books.
Okay. Go ahead and real quick make a perception check for me as you're sliding it into the drawer.
18. 13 plus 5.
So as you're kind of sliding it into the drawer, you notice that on the other side of what you wrote on was actually like a flyer from a local church, and the header on it says, "Do the right thing."
Oh, fuck you. No, so then after all that's done, I'll spend the night in the breeze home and head back to the college in the morning.
Okay. So you go to bed in the breeze home. Are you using the room that was technically assigned to you, or?
This time, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you sleep in this familiar yet foreign bed. The rest that you get is
Too soft.
it is certainly enough to grant you the benefits of a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
But the sleep that you do get is still fitful and kind of fraught with not necessarily nightmares, but just those dreams that you kind of wind up waking up from throughout the evening, and you kind of have to like shake it off, like you kind of dream about times that you spent with the party, and like even though those instances didn't end this way, like you do still dream of like suddenly you're hanging out in the like the Neverwinter Wood, and suddenly like Xanalor stands up and he says, all right, well, I guess it's about time for me to get going. And he walks out of like the forest clearing that you're in, and you you remember kind of like how dream logic works. You remember that you actually had something really important that you wanted to tell him, and so you run out of the clearing towards where Xanalor was, and where he headed off to, and you can't find him. And you wake up in the morning in your bed in the breeze home of Neverwinter, and you just kind of have this like lingering feeling of just kind of not necessarily lost, but just like that feeling of like you felt like you were supposed to accomplish something and you're not sure if you did, even though you didn't have a to-do list. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
So, in order to speed things up, because I like this one is as he wakes up in the morning, he's pretty sure what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely convinced, but he's sure of what he's supposed to do, and he's going to wild shape into a giant eagle. And if that form is unavailable due to CR restrictions, I'll just choose a hawk.
So you're turning into a bird.
Yep, and then I'm just going to fly straight to the meeting place with Varen.
Okay.
Yeah, Varen's office.
Yeah.
Because I imagine if he's a higher up, he's got some sort of balcony or whatever.
So you're skipping the ferry, skipping the lobby.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you fly
using my own teleportation bird.
Yeah, so you fly to the college of the Mages College of Neverwinter. You find yourself feeling sort of refreshed and like a sense of freedom. That have you this is Vendy's like first time wild shaping into a bird, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you get this sense of like of freedom. And though flying isn't necessarily like the easiest work, you do start to learn like how to ride the ocean breeze as it comes in through the Neverwinter port. And you kind of get this like sort of relaxing sense of freedom. So you fly out to the college and you land on a balcony, and do you wild shape out, or do you like how do you like try to gain access to this this room via the balcony?
Yeah, I'll just wild shape out, and I'm just rapping on the window.
Okay. You rap on the window. You wait a couple minutes. All of a sudden, you see like a curtain that had covered the window, like pulled to the side, and you do have kind of a sigh of relief, as it does happen to be Varen. You picked the right balcony. And
all right, I have checked 4 others before I got to yours.
Yeah, Varen has a very kind of confused look as he as he opens the door, and you see that like um, the the way like the curtains are actually constructed, the balcony doesn't really get used. It's just kind of there.
Hmm.
The curtains are actually there to like block out the light so that you kind of lose track of how long you've been working on something. That way
Hmm.
you don't get like disheartened that like, oh, it's been 2 days that I've been reading this book. um, and so yeah, Varen brings you in, and he leads you to the chair by his desk, and he says, "Can I get you a coffee?"
Let's hold off on that for the moment. Um, Important question here. What is the value of these mages again? I'm sorry, I'm sure you could have gathered that I was not myself last time we met, and I needed to shake some stuff off. So forgive me that my understanding of the details is a little hazy, but let's take it back from the beginning. All right?
All right. So, um, as I've stated, we are leading an expedition to Norland in the Moonshay Isles. Um, the group of mages there call themselves the Mages of the Tempest. They are a very uh, ancient, sort of more volatile sect of mages. One of the reasons that they sequestered themselves and are not a part of the sort of network of the mages colleges in Faerun is that they um, not that any of them were particularly evil or doing anything particularly untoward, but they balked at some of the safety restrictions that the College of the Mages Colleges kind of impart on the people that work there.
Namely?
What's that?
Yeah, namely.
Um,
I'm sure there's one that was the breaking point. What was that breaking point safety restriction?
this was well before my time, so I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. And what are we hoping to gain by reconnecting with these people?
Um, if they can be swayed to join forces with the College of Neverwinter, they could potentially help quell this cult uprising. The fact that they were able to gain access to our deep vault is not a promising prospect, and it is at least obvious at this time to me that we need some outside help. We are not prepared for whatever it is that may be coming.
Okay. So, to fight their insurgent forces, you're trying to amass an army of mercenaries. Yes or no answer. I don't need more flowery stuff, just yes or no answer.
No.
Okay. Then what would they be?
They would be, and I want you to make an insight check here. They would be a consulting group of mages whose expertise in um, sort of preventing access to areas or sort of different kinds of warding spells could help protect against potential second insurgents, larger one from these cultists.
13.
13. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you get the feeling that
5 plus 8.
he's being
Up front.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. And when it comes towards quelling their offensives, what are the plans?
Whose? The cults?
Your guys' plans to stop theirs.
They being the cult, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we're talking on the same terms. So our goal at this point is to be proactive in setting up sort of a defensive network and less reactive. And we are not here to send out expeditions of, armies of mages to snuff out this, separatist sort of group thinking. They are allowed to think what it is that they think. However, we would like to dissuade them from potentially bringing harm to any of the students here at the college, or against the various mages colleges of Faerun. We would like to dissuade that as much as possible. And with their sort of focus on Neverwinter, we believe that starts here.
So we're in agreement that this is an important location for them. But they've already shown that they will commit acts of violence against your affiliates. Are you afraid that you're under responding to the threat here?
That is certainly a possibility. I can't rule that out in its entirety. I would like to not sort of drag the Mages College and all that it stands for into some sort of open warfare against other mages. I don't think that is necessarily a good look, or the message that we as those who should be held to a higher intellectual standard should look to achieve.
That's fair, but right now we can talk about diplomacy and flowery words and all that, but the fact of the matter here is we're looking for these people so that your organization continue to have one hand tied behind its back. Because I'm sorry, but I've seen your guards get attacked, and I saw the intent to kill. And for an item that neither of us really knows how it works. So if you want me to get these individuals to help set up your defenses, fine. I'll do it. But using your conventional tactics right now isn't going to work when only one side only wants to use conventional tactics. So I'd advise you to rethink your plan. And hopefully you've come to your senses by the time I come back.
Can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Were you in my position, what is it that you would do?
Well, you know my particular hang-ups. When someone takes a life that's not ready to be taken, that creates a problem. And that problem needs to be resolved. Not necessarily by bloodshed, but by justice. You know the individuals that are the top of the pyramid per se. You know that they were in Tribor. If you can end up having a small capture force, bring them in, have them face justice. The ones that gave the order that led to the death of individuals who did not need to die that day. That requires some answering for. I'm not saying open warfare, but if you can sit there and say, on your orders, these men died. So then, heavy lies your head. Those men fought for you, they died for you. I would imagine that they thought they were going to get more than they did.
Go ahead and make an insight check for me.
17, 9 plus 8.
Okay. You can tell that you have certainly struck a chord with Varen.
I ruffled some feathers.
Not necessarily ruffled some feathers, but you do pick up on several like micro expressions while you're saying, your advice. And you definitely noticed an uptick in sort of like quick, almost pained expressions while you were talking about those men dying under Varen's order. And sort of a quick, again, micro expression of acknowledgement and almost amusement at your sort of usage of the term, heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially too, having worked with Varen throughout these past few months, you've seen him in various states of exhaustion and fervent research, and you've definitely seen it has almost aged him.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a moment, kind of as you were finishing your statement. He takes a moment, takes a drink of his coffee, and he. I'm actually going to take what you said to some of the representatives that check in from the conclave. I don't think that you're wrong. I think first and foremost my goal is to ensure the safety of the college, and I think that starts with sending you to hopefully get these mages of the Tempest to help us. However, I do believe that the conclave would be certainly open to a small group of their war mages going to Tribor to try to find these cultists and potentially capture Hildraith and or Xantor and as you said, bring them to justice.
Just want to make sure that I'm very, very clear when I say this. That a murder for a murder is not justice.
I agree. An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind.
Get your information. Because they seem to believe that you guys don't know what you're up against. And then decide what is just.
Okay. Again, you're not wrong. As far
done here?
As far as the expedition goes, I was waiting your decision. The group has been waiting, sort of on standby. So in the morning, please report to, and he tears off a piece of parchment and writes the name of a ship. And he gives it to you, and he says, please find this ship in the port of Neverwinter, and when you arrive, they will set sail for Moonshay.
Tell them I'll be right over. No need to wait till tomorrow.
Okay, I will start sending messages and hopefully scramble the group as quickly as possible. They'll meet you there. How would you like me to escort you out. Do you want to go through the lobby, or would you like to leave back through?
Yeah, I'll figure it out. As I head back out to the window.
Um, he pauses for a moment as you're kind of striding across the room. He goes, "Oh, and Uvenda, thank you."
We got a long way to go before we're at that point. Let's just focus on protecting who we need to.
And so yeah, you see him start to get ready to start. He starts the process of casting spells, and you hear him, saying, essentially the message of, report to the ship. We are ready to start setting sail.
Mm-hmm. My first question here is off the balcony. Are we is it over the ocean? Like if I just jumped, would I hit water or rocks?
Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
I don't like this. This might be Marisha's goldfish situation. 19 plus 5, 22.
Okay. So as you peer over the balcony, you do see that it does. Like I said, the Mages College of Neverwinter is on an island. The college itself, it very much like the College of Winterhold, where it sort of dominates the bit of rock that it is built on.
Yep.
But as you do look over, you do see like water breaking against some rocks and things like that. Kind of 50-50. Go ahead and make a survival check for me.
Oh my god. What is that? That is a 19 plus 8, 27. Thank God. 2 high rolls when I needed them.
Certainly had better ideas.
All right. The main reason why I say that is because Wild Shape, I got the order wrong. I thought it was I had flying, but I did not have swimming.
Uh-huh.
And I realized that was completely ass backwards because we even had a scene where I learned to be a shark.
Oh, yeah.
So I technically could not fly.
Okay.
Yeah. So since it has no bearing on the story, do you just want to say, oh, and you go back the same way you came?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then we go back the same way I came. Heading this time to the docks.
Yes. Okay. So you arrive at the docks. The ship name is the we're gonna call it Archimedes.
The SSSSS. We only had an S actually.
It is the Archimedes. It is a fairly decently sized ship. As it sits in the port, you see that the bow and stern of the ship are elevated above the main deck of the ship by about 5 feet or so, where the what's that thing called? The wheel? What?
The sure.
Yeah. That's elevated. So the ship stands at about 10 feet above the water on the main deck, and those upper decks stand at about 15 feet above the water. Mm-hmm. The sails are another 20. The masts are about 20 feet. So it was definitely built for traveling, not necessarily combat, but there are a pair of ballistae mounted on the ship for defense.
So we don't need that.
Yeah. As you arrive, you are you're the first person there.
Well, either I'm in the right spot, and I'm the first one here, or I'm in the wrong spot.
As you ponder this over the next hour or so, I would say, because of the time the ferry takes and all that, you do see a group of 4. They look like they're fairly well trained mages from the college aboard the ship. They're a bit. They have a bit more of air of intelligence about them than the mages who were with you down in the deep vault. You get the feeling that these are sort of the cream of the crop, so to speak, of mages at Varen's disposal. And so they come onto the ship. You see some people from the shipyard bringing on some supplies, some food and things like that. One of the mages from the college in his kind of blue and black robes. He says, "So you're I guess the
I
ringer."
am who you're looking for.
Okay. How have you been briefed on sort of the navigation and specifics of this trip itself?
I was told you were to take care of that.
Yeah. Sure. Did you eat? Okay. It's gonna be about a week, about a 10-day. Just so you know what to expect. It's gonna start out a little bit more slowly because we've got to kind of obey sort of the codes of the trade route as we leave Neverwinter and its port. But once we kind of get into open waters, we'll open things up a bit.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, another hour or two goes by. You've been obviously on a ship before with your booze cruise. It appears
Much more enjoyable.
Yeah, it appears as though this crew, the 4 mages who are staying on the ship with you, they're using their own hands and mage hands to kind of do the work of a crew. It appears as though they've been studying sailing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't see any dedicated sailors sort of coming to or staying on the ship. You've seen some people come in and do some inspections, and in accompaniment with people who are bringing the supplies on the ship. But those people who all look like seafaring lads, they all leave the ship eventually. But after a couple hours, you guys, you weigh anchor and you untie the mooring lines and set sail. It is very slow going at first through the port of Neverwinter, and then it speeds up a bit, but not a lot as you get into the open waters past the college, the Mages College. And kind of before you know it, it's evening. The sun setting on the almost infinite horizon that is the ocean. It definitely it's a very very kind of surreal experience. I don't think Vendi's had much sailing experience. You guys were definitely you were caught up in your own stuff on the booze cruise. And not to say that that's not true this time, but you certainly have the time to be pensive while also being attentive to your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's as the sun sets, it just to steal a line from Incubus. The ocean looks like 1,000 diamonds strewn across a blue plain.
Oh, hey, 2002. I didn't realize you came back so hard.
You know what? Sometimes people just said it better, and it doesn't matter when. But yeah, so you set sail. Evening comes, sun sets, and it's very dark. There are a few lanterns that are lit on the ship that are not just there for you to prevent you from walking into shit, but also you see in the distance some flickers of other lanterns as well on not necessarily all sides, but you do see, and you see that is how ships are able to acknowledge where each other are and not crash into one another on the trade route. As the first couple of days go by, you guys are sailing on the trade route. I don't. Let me look at this map really quick. I don't think that where you're going is on the. It is not. Okay.
We're going to DLC territory.
No. Oh my gosh! I left you on the shipment. Oh my god, boy, that was a real rookie mistake there. I didn't switch your like what map you were on. I just clicked the splash screen and left it that way. All right. Give me a minute while I kind of get this set up really quick, and
Okay.
We'll kind of get going from there. I apologize to anyone watching the stream who has to see all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Okay. All right. A couple days go by, and you guys are starting to get into the parts where you're seeing fewer ships throughout the day. Over the course of your trip, you have seen some larger battleship-looking ships that appear to be flying a flag that looks a lot like the sort of Lord's Alliance flag, but it is sort of a bit more maritime themed. Those ships are typically more stationary, or you've seen them moving sort of in like slow loops. From what you've been able to gather, they appear to be almost like a Lord's Alliance Coast Guard, sort of protecting the trade routes. But it's kind of on your third day of the trip where you guys are going. You're starting to definitely move a bit faster. The ship's motions have become a bit more exaggerated as you're kind of going over the currents and all that, and you can tell that you've picked up speed. And it's like the fourth day of the trip now, and all of a sudden you feel. Actually, go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Okay, +3 to this. Natural 20. Jesus Christ, rolling amazing today.
All right. You're able to like steady yourself on a railing, and also kind of get low and keep your balance as the ship comes to a very sudden stop. And as you look out, where does I guess I should ask this? Where does Vendi typically stay while on the like during sailing times?
Sitting down against probably the main mast.
Okay. So you notice as you you kind of are snapped out of your keeping yourself entertained goes, you actually notice two large tentacles are like wrapped on the side of the ship. So just to simplify things, since you, Vendi, like to
roll terribly on initiative.
No, not roll terribly on initiative, but you like to throw monkey wrenches into encounters. We're going to go with this in case you decide to do some crazy druid stuff, and I don't dissuade you from doing crazy druid stuff. So go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay. I rolled. That's a 13 plus 3, 16.
Okay. And that was a...
Oh, man.
Okay.
I have an idea.
All right. So you see the guys on the ship with you. They all start. So this guy's going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. They are kind of like, they run up and they're preparing to cast some spells. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll go with this. This guy, the guys who are next to the railings already, you see them. They're going to cast a spell, and we will see. Okay, it's going to be a Wisdom saving throw for whatever those tentacles belong to. Okay, there's going to be 2 of those. Okay, so you see, you kind of notice the I really need a good token for this. There we go. You see one of the tentacles almost looks like it starts to like loosen its grip on the ship. The other one does seem unaffected.
Okay.
But then it is your turn, and you see that some of the like the guys who are on their way, they're still like assessing the situation, but they're also looking to see like what it is that you are doing, being the sort of handpicked person for this.
Here's the one that I'm interested in here. Is I don't know if that's 1 or 2 creatures based off the tentacle here. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to find out by casting polymorph on the northernmost tentacle.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to turn it into a sea bass.
A sea bass, huh?
Yes. So that is going to be a Wisdom saving throw against the tentacle. Wisdom of 16.
Okay, that is an 11.
So it and anything connected to, like anything that's the same creature as it, turns into a sea bass.
Okay. What is the size on a sea bass?
So let's see. We're probably going to have to find something that thematically makes sense. Sea bass 5e.
I guess it's small, tiny. I'm just searching fish in the monster manual.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with tiny, based on just the way most things in Dungeons and Dragons are sized.
Would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it turns really small. You see it like. Yeah. The tentacle stops being attached to the ship because it turns into a fish and flops off the railing into the water.
Yep. And does that affect the southernmost tentacle?
It does not.
All right. That was what I was worried about, because that was my 4th level spell. And I said, it's like, I took care of mine. And that's my turn.
Okay. All right. So, I'm just gonna, what are the, like spell parameters of polymorph? Basically it turns it into that thing, right?
Yep. So polymorph here is Spell transforms a creature that you can see within range into a new form. An unwilling creature must make a wisdom saving throw, has no effects on shape changers or a creature with 0 hit points. The transformation lasts for up to an hour or until the target drops to 0 hit points and or dies. The new form can be any beast whose challenge rating is equal to or less than the target's. Game statistics, including mental ability scores, are replaced with statistics of the chosen beast.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually just going to remove this from combat. Because as a sea bass, dominated by its nature, which, let's be honest, was probably hunger, was the driving force. Whatever this creature is that is assaulting the ship, probably also driven by this same, its nature. Most things are. And a sea bass isn't going to eat a ship. Let's be honest. So it's going to swim away. So that brings us to the other tentacle. And it is going to... let's see. The tentacle is actually going to reach out, and it's going to try to grab this mage closest to you. And it does. Let's see. Okay. So that's going to be 2d6. Alright, so that's 11 bludgeoning damage. And he is now grappled.
I should probably put my concentration marker on here.
Okay. That brings us up to the rebels again.
Whoa, rebels!
Sorry, not rebels. College
Come on,
mages.
we're the Empire here.
I know. My mistake. Okay.
I knew it. I knew we were getting the bamboozle.
He's going to cast, at the 3rd level, a magic missile. So that is going to be, let's see, 3, 4, 5 darts. So that is 5d4 plus 5 for a total of 20 damage. Alright, and then that guy and that guy are going to run up. This guy is going to grab onto the other guy. So he's going to make a strength check. And he's actually going to... I'm just going to also put the grapple icon on him. So he's like grabbing the other rebel to try to prevent him from being pulled by the tentacle, if that is in fact what might happen. And the other guy is going to cast another spell. Damn, I keep rolling really good on the wisdom saving throws for whatever this tentacle creature is. Oh wait, no, I messed up. Nobody's grappled. He didn't lose 11 hit points. Because I forgot that the creature was under the effect of a spell from the same guy that he tried to hit. And so, actually, it takes 4d10 psychic damage if it fails again on the wisdom saving throw. Which it doesn't. Okay. That was a shame. Okay.
Does it not take half damage?
Unfortunately not. So the spell is Phantasmal Killer. So it was frightened for the duration. At the end of each of the target's turns before the spell ends, the target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take 4d10 psychic damage. On a successful save, the spell ends. So actually, all 4 guys are just going to cast Well, okay. The two guys who did not cast their 4th level spell, being the guys in the middle, are going to cast their 4th level spell. And so the tentacle monster is going to make 2 wisdom saving throws. Okay. So it's technically now under the effect of Phantasmal Killer twice. So it's going to have to make 2 saving throws on its turn. The other 2 guys are going to... so there's one more guy casting a 3rd level magic missile. And it was the guy who did the Phantasmal Killer that succeeded on the first turn. Okay. So it's another 21 damage. Sorry, I got myself all sorts of messed up there. But with that, Vendi, it is your turn again.
All right, so this one here, I do not have 4th level spells. I have wild shapes and 3rd level spells. This is fun when I like the only person here, so I could take time to think about what I want to do. Let's see here. Conjure animals. I can't do killer whale because it's a CR rating of 3. A reef shark, however, is CR rating compliant, I think.
I think so. Borax used that earlier, so I hope so.
Mm-hmm. So reef shark will be, because this determines how many numbers I have. Its CR is 1/2, and 1/2 would mean I get 4 beasts. I'm going to use conjure animals.
Okay.
And put 4 reef sharks into the water.
Okay.
Surrounding this guy. And I'll just give them the order, get him off, get the tentacle away from the ship.
Okay.
And then their initiative is, oh good, I didn't X out that. Whatever I roll plus 1. 16. 15 plus 1.
Okay.
And that, let's see here. I think now he'll recognize that there's actual danger here, and he'll go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30,
Okay.
and just, he can't grab the ballista until the next turn because he's already used his action. He can't do an object interaction, but that's where he's going to be at.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, actually, with that, the reef sharks will be up next.
Okay, so
And their order
tell me
was
how they
to-
interpret my order.
order
Get the tentacle away from the ship.
Okay. All right. So I want you to make 4. Actually, let me. I want you to make 4 attacks for me.
Okay, shark has advantage on an attack roll against a creature if at least one of the shark's allies is within 5 feet of the creature and the ally isn't incapacitated.
Okay. So they all have advantage.
Yeah, whatever higher number plus 4. That is a 23 for the first one.
Okay.
A 21 for the second. Man, I love this pack tactics thing. That will be a 16 for the third.
Okay.
And another 23 on the fourth.
Okay.
All of those, one probably would have hit and one probably would have missed.
All right. So go ahead and give me the damage total for 4 successful attacks.
4 hits?
Yep.
All right, so if we do 5 times 4 would be 20 plus another 8 would be 28 damage then.
Okay.
28 piercing damage if resistances matter.
Yeah. All right. So you see the sharks they like bite in, but you don't see them let go.
Mm-hmm.
So they all have grasp on this tentacle. So with that, the tentacle is up next. It can't do anything on its turn because of Phantasmal Killer other than leave. And I don't think it's going to because of being tapped into the Nightmare of. This is sort of this creature's worst nightmare already. Okay, so it's going to roll 2 Wisdom saving throws, 1 against each of the spells. It's going to shake one of them off, but the other one it is going to take the damage from. And that is 4d10 psychic damage. D10, okay. Alright, so that's going to be 14 psychic damage. And then,
Oh, something I just realized.
what's that?
I just cast 2 concentration spells. Wherever that sea bass swam off to, it is now a tentacle again.
Okay.
Fuck!
Alright.
Flew too close to the sun, Vendy.
With that, it is back to being it's the top of round 3. And these guys are going to fire off another volley of magic missiles. And that's going to be the 4 of them, so that's going to be 20d4 plus 20. Okay. So you see, actually, this tentacle gets like shredded by like the part of the tentacle that you can see gets like shredded by all of these magic missiles as the darts go through it, and once that finishes, you see the sharks begin to pull the part that they were going to pull. And they swim like underneath the boat to the other side. And as they do this, the body of the beast that it was attached to, you can see it briefly, and it looks to be a giant octopus, or was.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that is the end of the encounter, and actually that was already an hour, if you can believe it.
Yeah. I'll just give a final order to the sharks as they finish the. Give them a new order. Just so we finish the it goes. Form a perimeter around the boat. Just act as a early detection system.
Okay. And as you do that, you see the sharks kind of swim out to, like you see them kind of disappear under the water, and these appear to be, at least from what you could tell before you lost sight of them, doing just that.
Cool.
And yeah, that's going to do it for us here this week from NASA 5e. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you hopefully next week. And as always, sic semper Lincoln Logs.